I mean, here's the problem. If she doesn't state specifically who, and he was already going to want to buy out Maomao, he could just do that and say that he actually did what she said. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with another episode of the Apothecary Diaries. We of course come back with a board and notes, but as always, let's go ahead and start off with the board first. I've added Master Shishu. I believe I'm saying that right. I've never actually said it out loud before. I don't think I have anyway. I tied him to concubine Lulan with a blue line, because obviously he's her dad. I tied him to Anshi with a green line, because it was said that she favors him. I added Surei's adopted father to the board, having reconsidered the Thornapple episode. Surei's dad is how she got to where she was. He's a doctor of some sort, and the guy who got tricked. Sorry, I wrote this in a way that's not the best way to read it. The guy who Surei tricked into thinking she was dead and also, got him really all about her is that guy's master, whoever Surei's dad is. So, added him to the board. Obviously, we only saw him from here up, which means he's like a mystery, but, that's to be found out. The show is filled with them. Alright, on to the notes. Now, I'd normally think that when a character draws something to entertain a child, that wouldn't be a clue to anything, as it wasn't part of any ploy or coming from a character that was indicating towards anything possibly happening. But given that this show likes to teach you something before then using it later, sometimes in unrelated moments, I feel like I'd be remiss not taking a note about the woolly milk cap being a poisonous mushroom. I don't really know why jinshi rose to Lakan's bait. Jinshi implied that a blue rose didn't exist. Lakan said that they did. If it had stopped there, Lakan would just seem stupid or insane. Especially given how everyone will later claim that blue roses aren't a thing. I guess the risk would be that he would show up later with blue roses and make a fool of you? Except that Maomao covers later that she essentially had to tell everyone her trick as not to piss off the Emperor. So either Lakan would make an enemy of the Emperor, or a fool of Jinshi, which wouldn't be an amazing long-term plan on his part, or everyone would know his trick, in which case he really wouldn't make a fool of Jinshi. Either way, it didn't end there, and Lakan pulls a "let's test your ability" by saying that someone of Jinshi's power should be able to make the impossible real. Except, again, Jinshi isn't publicly the person that Lakan knows him to be. So there is no reason for Jinshi to rise to Lakan's bait, as it would be actively against the persona that he's trying to employ. In fact, declining the challenge would make him appear to be the level of servant that he is meant to be, regardless of who Lakan thinks he is. And Lakan being right or wrong really does nothing to Jinshi's standing. As I said, very confusing as to why Jinshi entertains any of this. I'm a bit incredulous as to the idea of every florist in all of China not knowing about the trick to make roses different colors through dyes and water. Like, I get that Gao Shun was sent out to find blue roses, but I'd think that of the massive population of the nation, and whatever percentage of that were florists, that some number of them would have offered up that tidbit, if not for the respect of authority, then for want of making a sale. What I would be less likely to believe is that Maomao would be the first person to ever do this, and is in fact the only person in all of China to come up with this. As per the normal thing I do now, of looking for future clues in the episodes that don't seem to have any connections to what our current plot is about, we now focus a good bit of our runtime on the matter of making roses bloom out of season, with a subplot relating to Gyakyo's pregnancy and the pure consort's lineage. I feel like a larger meta narrative coming out of that would be blooming before their time, by which I mean people or things being forced into maturity before their time. I'm unsure of what the target of such a narrative would be, however, as Maomao already seems relatively mature. Having a second kid makes one seem to be already in bloom. If I had to level that thought process anywhere, it feels like it might work for a lock-on plot, possibly. Whatever he might be up to with Mei. Not sure. Just a thing I was thinking about. It's funny, before Zhao Zhao showed up this episode, I was thinking that it's been a while since we last seen her. I think I referenced her a few times in previous episodes as a point of view for the lower castes of society and the differences of what most people of different social stratum thought, as she used to be our rumor mill character, but then Maomao got pulled away from that area, and it seemed like we'd lost her for good, and then boom, she was just there again. One of the eunuchs of the rear palace that was helping with the roses was afraid of bugs. I doubt it means anything, but I'll be damned if I don't take a note of it, and it turns out to be important later. Li Hao's servants keep popping up to investigate what Maomao is up to. Sorry, Li Hua. Li Hao's servants. Best guess, they were using the sauna. I think during the episode that I thought it was two of the different groups of servants. But it seems like both times it was Li Hua's servants' colors. Of everyone I suspect for stuff, she's not one I suspect of anything. So I guess I kinda just put her servants under the same suspicion-free umbrella. I know it seems weird, me who accuses everybody of anything. Li Hua is just like free. I don't suspect her of anything. She lost a fucking kid, and then almost died, and was almost willing to die because she lost a kid. Like, maybe that was the ploy? Become not suspicious by losing everything? But I mean, I just don't feel it. Like, her and Adu, maybe. I just don't suspect them of anything. Also of some note, Jinshi was at the garden party this time, and no one was speaking of the Emperor's brother. He wore the pin that he gave Maomao last time. No one commented on it. No sign of the red pin from before, but since that represented a connection to Adu, I guess it would make sense that he didn't wear it. One detractor to my Padme theory is that Lulan and her servants seem to have yellow to brown eyes, where Suri had gray to blue eyes, as did the guys that she was disguised into, I believe. I don't think that makes it impossible. If anyone could figure out contacts, I think it'd be the person who faked being dead and got away with everything. Just seems more unlikely that a new actor at play. I suppose it is of some interest that Shishu's retinue were surprised by Jinshi's blue roses, as though they had some stake in Jinshi's conversation with Lakan. It feels like there may be a connection there, but then again, they could just be surprised by blue roses themselves. Also the element that Lulan seems to have a thing against Jinshi for some reason. That might just, go down the servant tier as well. So the guy next to Lakan, whose hand can be seen shaking as Lakan wipes himself off on the guy's hat in front of him, in the long shot through the roses we can see him. It's still my best guess that he's holding in a laugh, as his face seems to be indicating that. Unlike last garden party, where I tried guessing where the people we knew were seated, there's none of that this time, as even that guy doesn't seem like anyone we know. I mean, if I had if it had to be someone, then it would be Lihaku, I'd think. As per the conversation around his relationship to Lock-On in the last episode, Lock-On, after regarding the roses, does seem to turn to talk to him as the screen blurs to go into the next scene. So, relatively unhelpful to figure out who he is, but Lock-On does deign to talk to him. Lock-On was having blue water given to the roses in the past. Was it dyed water or some specific blue water that would represent something or be used for something that we should be on the lookout for? Also, obviously, I anticipate some flashback stuff with Maomao's mother in regards to blue roses and a possible infatuation with them for her. I imagine that would be the scene in the opening of the blue roses being given to someone. Then again, Maomao has the box and the rose, so that could be in the present. I've already guessed flashback in the opening once and was wrong. Probably going to be wrong again. Lock-On says a bunch of stuff about how he regards people, not making a massive note about it as it generally just seems like his personality. The real standout is that he suffers from eye pain and seeing the color red in his vision, which could mean any number of neurological or eye conditions to be looking out for. The conceit that who the show wants us to believe to be our main villain could already be dying. Okay, so when Lock-On says everyone looks like Go pieces to him and then talks about chess, Chinese chess has different piece names than normal, apparently. So when he calls his own military people cannons and chariots, I only brought it up in order to compare the rankings he gives Jinshi and Gaoshun in his vision. Gaoshun is a bishop, odd enough, as I'm told that should be an elephant in Chinese chess, is usually beside an advisor. Jinshi is an advisor, also known as a guard, and is placed beside the general or king, which I guess is an important enough piece as to not seem like one to Lock-On's vision, giving Maomao her full appearance. Either that, or the obsession he already has with her, or the resemblance to her mother, on top of her nails already being done exactly the same way. Could be a number of reasons. I'm reading into the chess piece thing. Leading into my final note. Interesting note, woodsorrel leaves are used as an antidote to poisoning by arsenic and mercury. We brought up woodsorrel. What was it? We brought in balsam and woodsorrel. Balsam is also used in a lot of medicinal stuff, but woodsorrel being used specifically as an antidote for poisoning, and Maomao's main job is to effectively taste test for poisons. Seems like something at play. Either way, though, those were my notes. That was the board. I say there's nothing left to do but to hop on in and see what we get this episode.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
It was an interesting next time on, as it seems like it's going to be a lot of games between Maomao and Lock-On. Like, obviously, it looks like they're going to play Go. So I anticipate that Lock-On's going to be testing his daughter against the acumen that her mother played Go. But it also looked like, was it Princess's Bride? Poison Cup scene? Oh, I didn't even put this together. But my last note covered the woodsorrel thing. And it looked like they were playing Poison Cup. So I don't know. But really, there's 2 episodes left? 1 episode left after this? Yeah, we're on the penultimate episode. I didn't even bring that up. The penultimate episode of the season. Next episode will be the penultimate episode of the season, and then we'll get into episode 1 of season 2, which I think everybody who's been watching the Apothecary Diaries is just finishing season 2 now, right? I legitimately don't know how many episodes there are in season 2, but it'll at least be in the same season as everybody. I'm gonna legit make the guess that maybe Lakan is gonna die before season 2, and then the Pure Consort is gonna be our new villain. New villain. Okay, Maomai's been taking care of Maomao's mom. Again, should be elephant and advisor, but I guess maybe that doesn't have the same ring.
お相手できないでしょうか。
断る理由などなかろう。可愛い娘の頼みとあらば。
勝負は変則なしの5局勝負。つまり先に3勝した方が勝ちです。
I don't think you had to, in other words, that.
どうする？どの駒を落とそうか。
必要ありません。
もらっておけばいいもの。
それより賭けの褒美を決めませんか。
No, it's about beating him at his best.
私が勝てばうちの子になってくれるね。何も口を出さない約束でしょ。しかし。
I mean, there's also the element that she doesn't have to accept any of that.
構いません。ですが雇用中の身ですので、年季が明けた後になりますが。
雇用中？本当に雇われているのかい？
Well, I mean, even if she loses, gives her time.
その代わり、私が勝てば、6召喚の妓女を1人身請けしてもらえないでしょうか。
何を言い出すのかと思えば。
誰とは言いませんが、やり手ババアが年頃の妓女を片付けたがっていますので。
そうきたか。
I mean, here's the problem. If she doesn't state specifically who, and he was already going to want to buy out Maomao, he could just do that and say that he actually did what she said. I mean, where did she get it if not from you? Arsenic or mercury?
少しなら薬です。2口も飲めば猛毒になりますけど。小瓶の液体を3つの杯に入れて。どれに
She
入れ
said
たかわから
medicine,
ない
so I'm guessing I'm wrong.
勝負1回ごとに勝った方が1つ選び、負けた方がそれを一息に飲む。これが1つ目のルールです。
えぐいことを考える。
そして2つ目は、たとえどんな理由があろうとも、試合を放棄したら負けということでお願いします。よろしいですか？
I don't know that matters though. Like, if you abandon a match by having to leave, you're definitely not gonna have time to drink the drink.
確かに普通の相手ならひるむかもしれない。しかし、相手は鬼人と言われる軍師殿である。ただの揺さぶりで心乱れるとは思えない。一体何を考えている
I mean, at the end of the day, though, he's supposed to be so high-ranking that couldn't he just order her to do anything anyway? I don't know Chinese chess. I know real chess. I'm good at real chess. Okay, I take it she lost the first match. I mean, there's also the element, you know, that she's the apothecary. She would know the cure to whatever she's doing. Then she loves getting poisoned. Is it a double bluff? That Lakan doesn't want to poison his own daughter to death?
すでに2杯。
The element that she might be forcing him to let her
毒入り
win.
かどうかはためにはわからない。
3戦目も私からでよろしいですか？
ああ、いいよ。
一体何を考えているんだ。3戦目の結果も見えている。もしすでに飲んだ2杯が毒入りだとすると、3杯目を飲むのは危険すぎる。
I forgot how many cups there were. Was there 6 cups?
ラカンはどこまで読んでいるのか。
Because the more poison she drinks, the less likely there is to be the poison in the cup that she's trying to get.
参ったよ。
お情けでも勝ちは勝ちということでいいですね。
ああ、間違っても娘に毒を
Exactly what I said.
はいかんからね。どれを選んでくれる？
好きなものをどうぞ。
Also 5 cups. I was off by 1.
味はあるのかい？
一口飲めば嫌な味だと思うでしょうね。
ラカンは2回まで負けることができる。そのうち1つでも味が違う。
It's like a prisoner's dilemma
娘に
almost.
毒が及ばないとわかるだろう。そのためにわざと負けるとは、やはり抜け目のない男だ。
She only pointed into 3, right? So if he drinks 1 with poison, he'll know that she's safe. Also, there was no rule about lying.
嫌な味だ。
毒入りだ。これで薬屋が3杯目に毒を飲む心配はなくなった。それは同時にラカンがこれ以上負ける必要がないということ。薬屋に勝ち目はない。
私が勝てばうちの子
Unless it was a lie from the beginning, and she poured antidote, and the other ones had poison. Oh no, he's the only one that drank poison. She didn't drink poison in hers.
これは一体一杯では問題ない薬なのだろう。いくら憎らしいからといって本当に毒を盛るなんて。
薬ですよ。酒は百薬の長と言いますから。
酒？どういうことだ？
ジン様は酔っているだけのようです。
Hard out a liquor said that.
稽古なんですよ、この人。
そういえばいつもジュースばかりで酒を飲むのは見たことがないな。では
Except for the one time that he,
アルコールです。さてと。
I say he passed the thing on to her that had alcohol in it.
男を運び出して。
Alcohol that he poured in his own cup, I'm pretty sure. Because he gave it to Jinshi, and then Jinshi gave it to him.
生まれた時
I mean her. Jinshi gave it to
人間
her.
の区別がつかなかった。乳母と母を間違えるどころか男女の区別もつかなかった。父は私に呆れ、これでは役に立たぬと愛人のもとに通うようになった。母はそんな父を取り戻そうと必死だった。そんなわけで名家の長子でありながら手すさびで覚えたゴとシャンチーにのめり込
Suddenly a djinn look to
本
him.
当に生きることができた。
顔ではなく声や素振り、体格で人を覚えるんだよ。お前なら
So he actually has face blindness, or does he actually have
おじきだ
some
けは
actual
自分
condition?
を理解してくれた。容量は悪いが優秀なおじきのおかげで次第に人の顔が駒に見えるようになった。おじきが社に見えた時にやはり優秀な男なのだと再確認できた。成長してからは
So I'm just thinking the brown outfit was also the outfit of the
長を任された。
master doctor guy. That Tsure was
無駄
the
なく使えばお釣りが来る。人が駒となるシャンチーは何より面白いゲームに違いなかった。仕事でもゲームでも無敗が続く中、付き合いで行った議論で噂の妓女と対決することになる。無数の白黒の中、
I don't know what the point of hiding Maomao's mother's face
鮮やか
is.
に輝いていた。女の名はフォンシェン。
We got a name
技
for
能
her.
で負けなしの妓女と軍部で負けなしの自分、どちらが負けても観客は面白いことであろう。 確かに強い。けれど、所詮は井の中の蛙。負けた。それも圧倒的に。こんなに負けたのはいつ以来だ？ああ。人とはこういう顔をしてい
That
る
looks
の
like the
か。
pure consort.
まるで宝泉下の
Different
水
color
が
eyes, though.
触れたら弾けそうな人を寄せつけない目。
I mean, it's also fun to have a challenge, right? If you beat everybody all the time,
次はまくる
the
まい。
game seems to lose its
それか
fun.
らひたすらゴとシャンチーを繰り返すだけの仰せが何年か続いた。義郎で生まれた本心は誇りだけを固めたような性格だった。
母はおりません。私を産んだ女ならいますが、花町では義女は母になれませんので。
才能ある義女はある程度
So her
人気
mother
者
was a
になると
courtesan, is what I'm
売
taking
り
from
惜
that.
しみが行われる。本心もその一人だった。きつすぎる対応が
So,
万
also,
人
you
向
know,
けで
how
はない
he
ものの
ruined her.
一部の小塚に受けていたらしい。次第に根もつり上がり、三月に一度会うのがやっとになった。
Oh,
宝泉下と
the mirror thing from the opening. I thought that was the pure consort. I guess it was her.
別名猫足です。解毒や虫刺されに効く生薬だとか。
Well, I said my
宝
notes.
泉下と同じで、成熟した実に触れると種が弾け飛ぶんです。
それは面白い。
次はいつ来られますか？
また3ヶ月後に。
わかりました。
You see, if she was nefarious, that's how you make a person lose all of their money.
本線の根は小塚たちの競り合いで釣り上がっていった。武官として出世したものの、異母兄弟に後継ぎの立場を奪われた自分には到底太刀打ちできる額ではなかった。
I mean, you could have attacked the guys and not her.
あなたが勝てたら好きなものを与えましょう。私が勝てたら好きなものをいただきましょう。お好きな番を選んでください。
ふと悪いことが頭をよぎった。
5でよろしいです。
How to reduce her cost.
メイメイ、試合に集中したいから。
There we go. He doesn't know Mei Mei's face. Also, that must be how young was Mei Mei back then. You think he remembers her name? He must. He's actively trying to see her now, so he must remember her name.
気づけば手が重なっていた。本線からは甘い言葉も何もなかった。自分もそんな柄ではなく、ある意味似た者同士の二人だった。
子がやりたい。
自分とてシャンチーがしたいと思っていた。
Have we heard this song before? Was she singing that in her illness craze? earlier
高
episodes.
級の遺憾になったと思ったら追放だと。一族のつらい星だ。
優秀なのに相変わらず容量が悪い。
お前は奴と親交が深かっただろう。家を出てしばし留学しろ。
Is Lakan related to Maomao's adopted
念のため
father?
だ。
しかし、い
なんだ。
え、なんでもありません。
Maomao's dad wore the blue coat like that.
親であり、
He said half brothers.
逆らえるはずがなかった。同じ頃、身請け
No, he
話
could have
が
been
破談
talking
に
to
な
one
っ
of
た
his
と
employees,
本
not
心から
his
不満が
sons.
あり、私も半年ほどで戻れるだろうと高をくくっていた。その時はまさか戻るのに3年もかかるとは思いもし
And
なか
some
った。
fucking hike in the prices.
本線からの文がこんなに。
The illness taking hold.
土くれ？いや、小枝か？しかも2つ？
They would say I thought they were fingers.
これは指切り。そんな呪いが流行っているのは知っていた。身請け話が破談になった原因、あの袋に入っていたもう一つの小さな指はなぜ気づけなかったのか。ゴトシャンチしか頭になかった。
See, it's certainly not painting him as the evil bastard who did something on purpose.
お前、本心ならもういない。今さら何しに来たんだい。3年も放っておいて。価値が落ちた場所がどうなるかなんて知ったこっちゃないんだろ。
少し考えれば分かったはずだ。身請けの破談、その原因はポンシェの腹には店の名を汚し、信用と価値が地に落ちた妓女がたどる末路を。
But when did the illness come into play?
夜中のごとく客を取り、
Would have been before that, right?
いずれどんなに嘆いたところで時は戻らない。何もかも短絡的だった自分が招いたことだ。
It wasn't evil intent, it was incompetence, I guess.
ここは
I guess at which point Maymay would have been raising Maomao, right? Or not raising her, you know.
メイメイ。
どこぞの鬼人の使いの方が
3 years did a lot.
ですよ。それにしてもひどい顔色、赤いというか青いというか。
私とてこうなるつもりはなかったよ。まさかあんなに強い酒だとは思わなくてね。メイメイは昔フォンシェンの下でカムロをしていた。メイメイとはよく遊んでやった。
He does remember.
筋がいいと褒めたらもじもじしていた。そういえば。
どうかなさいましたか？
いや、なんでもない。
はい、どうぞ。
ああ。
マオマオが作ったそうですよ。
Okay, so it's a lot longer than 3 years. Not a lot, but it's longer than 3 years. The way Maymay has grown up and Maomao's actually doing apothecary shit. Oh, sorry. This is the present.
たとえ枯れたとしても形を保つことができるんですね。
I didn't realize this was the present. I was connecting it to he got dragged into the place after the storm and everything. This is after he drank the liquor.
失礼します。
Uh-oh, those servant guys with the yellow eyes. Yellow-brown. Oh. Sorry, the episode just went like that, like real quick. I still haven't identified anything from the ending as being anything in the show yet. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to the final episode and Jinshi, sword in hand, shirtless and everything, is the thing happening. But yeah, lock on, not the evil bastard that we thought he was. Nope, sorry, correction. Lock on, I never thought was going to be our main bad guy, and I thought maybe was being misunderstood. I said that in a bunch of my notes. And now they're showing us he's not that guy. He's a bit nefarious and everything. Now. Now he's messing with people. At the same time, it never seemed like he meant to do anything in the past. And he's not really messing with people that hardcore now either. He's just kind of trying to get what he wants to get. And to be fair, from previous life experience, he's been taught now to go after what you're trying to get before you lose it. Don't make that mistake again, right? Okay. The very end of The Next Time On puts her in the dress that she's in at the end of the opening. Because I was about to say, everything we saw in The Next Time On were all flashbacks. And I was like, there's no way that the final episode of Season 1 is gonna be a flashback. The thing that this makes me think of, I'll even bring up that Rogue Knight is in the chat saying this reveal was awesome to me, the characters in the show didn't like him, and that is why it felt natural to just lock on. The element to me is that I've been trying to identify who is the focus, not the focus, the originator of the conspiracy. And the element is that lock-on just did not fit for a bunch of that. And I only kept him in the running for a possibility because the show kind of made it feel like they wanted me to think that he was. The same way that I was talking about, Li Hua did not feel like there was any guilt on her. For me, she is under the umbrella of people I do not suspect. Lock-on was very much towing the line of being in and out of that umbrella. Because he is suspicious as fuck, right? But nothing that he has done outside of guiding, say, Gao Shun in his observations or getting Maomao to investigate the lead episode stuff, it felt always like he was guiding them towards solving a mystery before it happened, right? In the element, the same way that Maomao's adoptive father has trained her to be really investigative and good at solving these mysteries, but he himself is better than her at it, right? Lock-on is the same way. Lock-on feels like he is just better at this, the same way it seemed like he figured everything out from just the explosions at the warehouse. That he then tried to guide his daughter into solving everything, or at least putting clues in her way. To what end, I don't know. Maybe the element that his half-brothers, his people he used to work with, etc., could be behind stuff. I've brought up before that I feel like, I apologize, I keep saying Maomao's adopted father because off the top of my head, cannot remember his name. Lumen was his name, right? Wasn't it? That Lumen is actually involved in something. I've brought that up a number of times. And now the element that Lock-on's father is chastising a guy who wore an outfit that kind of looks like Lumen's outfit and saying you used to be a doctor in the rear palace. And it's like, well, Lumen got kicked out. And it's like, could that have been Lumen? And that's a hint towards a greater conspiracy that I've been bringing up for a long time now? That Lock-On just never entered into any of that. That's why I found him suspicious, but not of the stuff I was trying to solve. And I guess just now even more directs my finger back to pure consort Lulan, because, you know, she eyeballs Jinshi. Her dad grins at him as though he's up to something no good. I feel like that's the path. That's got to be the path towards this conspiracy, which I don't even think is going to be solved this season. Like, I don't... Here's the thing, is obviously I didn't know anything about Apothecary Diaries going in, other than the trailer that I watched the first time that made me want to watch it, and then the trailer I watched the second time that won the poll. So I don't know what people were talking about. So the element that I don't know how the season ends, because I didn't hear any, like, scuttlebutt about it. But at the same time, like, I don't know how the season ends with the conspiracy shit still on the table. Like, were people more about the Jinshi Maomao relationship and they didn't talk about, like, who did what? I guess I also just don't hang around in anime circles where people talk about this kind of stuff, right? So, the only time I ever get this is everyone who seems to want to spoil me for Gundam. Like, we just posted Gundam, the first movie today, and literally the first comment was, oh, this character doesn't actually die in any of the stuff that's out there. In the anime, anyway. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, thanks now. Now I don't have to worry about that. It's like, sarcastic, by the way. I'm not actually thanking that person. I hate anybody who gives me spoilers about anything. Especially shows that I'm actively watching, and Gundam is just fucking filled with it. Everyone wants to tell me about characters who appear in Zeta, or don't die until this, or, you know, I'm watching. Gundam is, what, 79? So, what, 36? 56 years? 56? I don't know. Math off the top of my head while I'm trying to react and think about other stuff. 56, let's just say 55 years. 55 years of anime, of many different shows. You've got to let me get it in my own time, my guys. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, I'm tangenting. There's a lot of here. I think the thing that I'm going to have a lot to take notes on is trying to figure out if any of the people that Lock-On can't see the faces of are actually important people. Or are anybody, for that matter. Because the element that Lock-On can't see faces is an element that he could have been in contact with everybody we've ever seen so far, and we wouldn't recognize it through Lock-On's vision. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just thinking if there's anything else important here, and there's probably tons of important stuff, but as is always the case with Apothecary Diaries, my thoughts are weighed down by the final stuff that you get from the episode. So I think everything else is kind of going to have to be put on hold until the notes section after the fact. That said, though, we still have Maomao's notes to get into, which, of course, I assume is going to be about alcohol or Balsam and Woodsorrel, or whatever it was called, that I had talked about before. So I say let's go ahead and hop onto that and see what we get.
Maomao no Hitorigoto.
That was the episode title, but not what it was about.
Maomao no mame chishiki. ホウセンカの花言葉は私に触れないで。
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I said. Balsam and
片髪の花
Woodsorrel.
言葉は喜び、母の優しさ。
You get a lot from this show if you know what flowers represent.
ラカンを無事に送り届けてきたか？
無事ではないかと。下戸にとって酒は猛毒ですから。無論、命
It
に
was
別
hard
状は
liquor
ありま
after
せん。
all.
だよな。それにしても金輪際ああいった賭け事は控えてもらいたい。
ああいった賭け事？産地ですか？ もともと得意でも何でもないのでご安心を。
違う。
I don't know what the word she just said
あ
was.
の男以外で下戸に酒を盛るようなことはいたしません。
それも違う。負けたら誰かの子になるとかどうとか。
I mean,
ラカ
you
ンの
are
後に
his
行くの
daughter.
は年季が明けてからと義理を通したつもりなんだが、第一そんなことを褒美にするのはあの男以外いるはずが。
I mean, you could to your adopted father.
どうしたんだ？次回、jinshiとMaomao。あの男は6召喚で誰を見受けするのか。
Oh, you're leaving it up to him? This is what I'm talking about when it comes to Maomao's notes things. Is I feel like they do give you more information about the episode than is just in the episode, and I treat it as part of the episode. I don't know what the word I used before was. Because Maomao here wondering, I wonder who he'll buy. Like, the implication that I was saying in the episode is that you left it open-ended. I felt like the thing you were going to do is to make him buy Pa Rin, so that you would then be able to help Lee Haku out, and it would actually just be Lee Haku's superior helping him out. You know, you don't know why, he doesn't know why, and it would actually go against what Lee Haku wants to happen, but it would still help him out. Versus what clearly feels like is about to happen, Lakan is going to buy Maomao out, which, again, I don't really know how that plays. Like, you've got a daughter with somebody who's dying of a sickness that's deteriorating her mind, and you're going to move on to buying out one of the Verdigris princesses to be what to you? Like I said, the whole Maomao getting bought out thing is an oddity. And I've brought up before, what if Lakan bought somebody else out as a different sort of play? Like, it's not beyond the pale that Lakan could buy out Pa Rin, and then whatever happens, happens, right? The element that Pa Rin is waiting for the Prince Charming to come, sweep her off her feet, and that Lee Haku having the opportunity, once she gets bought out, to not then have to wait for the whole money thing. By the way, not concurrent, I can't even think of the words, I'm going to describe it in a lot of words. Two different storylines, almost identical to one another. Lee Haku with Pa Rin, I can't remember her name because I haven't written it on the board yet. Maomao's mother and Lakan. Lee Haku is all about now waiting until he has enough money to do this thing. Lakan is all about waiting until he had enough money to see her again, right? So the idea might be that Lakan does buy out Pa Rin in order to prevent Lee Haku from going through what he himself went through before. And the idea that Maomao has already expressed in note form that she's not done with this life yet. So it doesn't make much sense for Lakan to buy her out if she doesn't actively want to leave it and he had any sort of designs on her to begin with. So, yeah, I guess my compass on this is going towards Lakan not being a bad guy, maybe buying out Pa Rin for good reasons, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's all my thoughts about this episode. Well, they're not all my thoughts, obviously. I have many more thoughts to come next episode's beginning note section. Those are all my thoughts for right now. So that said, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?